been joking with you for a while now about these baseball advanced analytics outlets and the cutesy nicknames that they come up for their projection stats. Well, I'm not joking. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. There's a bunch of them, and I've already shared with you Zips and Pacoda. I don't even know what Pacoda stands for. Actually, I'm not sure I know what Zips stands for, but I've got a bunch of them. There's a Steamer. That one I'd heard of before. There's ATC. Have no idea what that stands for. There's The Bat. The last one you're going to think I'm making up. It's called Oopsie. Now, again, no clue what these mean. But I do know, and I'm here to share with you this morning, that they're pretty good at what they do, in the sense that whatever formulas they utilize, they end up coming up with very similar numbers. Now, you can be cynical and say, well, they're just waiting for the other one to come out and making sure that they're not too much of an outlier, but there's the occasional outlier as well. This was a graphic that was put together yesterday by another cutesy term, something called TJ Stats, that just does nothing other than collect all of the various projections and try to put them all into one lump sum. Now, if you think about it, that's kind of easy, lazy way to do it, but it's also useful. And this one was just for projected team home runs. Now, this has been a thing of mine here for a couple of weeks, at least once the realization hit, and hit hard, that they're not going to do another damn thing to boost this offense. You realize that there's virtually no chance of them competing for anything because they're not going to be able to hit home runs in a sport that is now, for better or worse, fueled by home runs. The Pirates are seen by, let me find these here. It's not Steamer. It's not Oopsie. There's 156 home runs by The Bat, 154 home runs by Zips. The highest figure that anybody has is Steamer at 162. The average across the board from all five of these things is 158. That's it. 158 home runs for your ball club in 2025. I'm going to open up here, because I have my laptop here in front of me, the general stats from 2024 and share with you where your Buccos finished up last year. They had 160 home runs, and that was 25th in the majors. Now, they are going to shrink in that category by every accounting based on the projections, which are based on the current roster. So I'm going to repeat, if they were to go out and get some superstar slugger or whatever and trade away a bunch of young pitching, and I'm not sure that I want to see that, then reasonably they would move up. But this is a group of people that's just not very competitive, and you're not going to see anything of the sort. So, what does it mean specifically that the Pirates won't hit home runs? Since I have the laptop here, which I usually don't, by the way, when I'm recording, I'm going to read off to you in reverse order the teams at the bottom of the home run list, and you tell me what they might have in common. You ready? Okay, number 30, as in dead last in home runs, the White Sox, the worst team in baseball, 133 home runs. Next worst, Washington Nationals, 135. Next worst, the Rays, who've never really relied too much on the long ball because, they try to think outside the box and do things in an innovative way and zig when other teams zag, but they're the outlier that's down there as far as home runs go. Meaning they're a decent team. They weren't great last year. Then come the Marlins, who were terrible. Then come the Blue Jays, who were disappointing. Then come the Pirates, and then after that, And I'm going to mention this because they're another positive outlier, are the Tigers. But the Tigers are at least trying to sign people this offseason to add to Tarek Skubal and other good pitching that they've got. Your team's doing nothing. Now, if I move up just a little bit in that same reverse ranking, I get the Cubs with 170 home runs last year. They were 20th overall in that category. The Cubs have shot up like crazy in their projections this offseason. I mean, like, there are some that have the Cubs as the third best team in all of baseball, never mind the Central Division. Well, interestingly, the Cubs are still seen as having the 20th most home runs, which I'm putting forth here as a reminder that they aren't everything, but they are definitely a thing. And when your team isn't creating offense in really any other kind of way, and the Pirates are not, I know there's more to base running than steals, but steals are such an easy way of gauging them. And the Pirates were 16th in the majors with 106 steals. 16th, average. So they didn't even attempt to compensate, for their power shortcoming by activating their runners in any form. Never mind steals. I'm talking about hit and runs, anything. They just don't activate. Derek Shelton just doesn't activate. Talks about it every spring. I'm sure it'll come up next week again, but he doesn't ever actually do it. So you'd think, well, maybe they're at least really good at getting on base. No, they're not that either. They were a 301 OBP team last year. That was tied for the fourth worst in the majors. And you know who knows this? They do. You know what they think about it? You know what they're trying to do to address it? Not a thing. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
As long as I'm playing around on the laptop here today, an amazing graphic was put up on our website, DK Pittsburgh Sports, by a commenter that shows the last time all 30 teams had a 40 home run hitter. And it goes from Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and Anthony Santander last year all the way down to the team that's the 29th longest stretch without having one, and that's big-headed Barry Bonds way back in 2004 for the Giants. And then you want to talk about gaps from 29 to 30, okay, in this overall ranking. There's a gap that goes clear back to Willie Stargell in 1973 for your ball club. It's been 51 years since the Pirates have had a 40 home run hitter. Captain Willie with 44 that year. Today's J1Q comes from John, who asks, DK, did Bob Nutting say no to $5 million for Randall Grichuk? No, that's really, really, genuinely, truly not how it works there. I know that that's the easy thing to do, especially from a distance, is to look at something and say, aha, it was Nutting. All Nutting does when it comes to money stuff is he'll set a parameter at the outset of the offseason. What's the parameter based on? Every slice of evidence I've ever had on this front is that he first and foremost has to make himself X amount of profit, and he has to do it in the most careful possible way. In other words, he's not going to look at the, let's say it's 15 or 16 starts that Paul Skeens will make at home, and then weigh that the Pirates are going to ramp up the prices on when the Yankees come in for the opening series, really ramp them up, actually, if you've seen the list. He's going to operate as if there's going to be a meteor strike. That's the way he thinks. He's incredibly risk averse. But it's not like Ben Cherington says, man, I really want Randall Grichuk. I'm going to go ask Bob if I can get him. And then he goes down the hall and Bob's sitting there. Hey, Bob, can I get Randall Grichuk? Bob says, no. How much does he cost? Wait, I already said no. So no. I've stated this often. If Nutting is guilty of anything when it comes to navigating his own hierarchy, it's that he is exceedingly trusting of them. Exceedingly. And no, I don't want him making baseball decisions either. But when I say that, I mean there are certain times over the years where, and I've known these for a fact, where he was aware of certain situations. He was hoping that they would turn out a certain way for the Pirates, but he wouldn't put his finger on the scale to tilt it even a little bit. He just wanted to leave his people alone. And that is not the right thing to do. You don't have to go full on Jerry Jones, but you do have to be, well, focused on the right stuff, invested, not just financially, but also in the baseball, in the success of the baseball, and not have it be something that's a happenstance or a happy happenstance. He'd like to win. I've seen that too firsthand. I covered the 2013 to 15 teams. He really enjoyed himself. I don't know that I've ever seen him happier. But then again, those also were the 3 most profitable seasons that he's had. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there, John. It's not something that's that cut and dried, and you can't ever underestimate what a monstrous factor it is that Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, and everybody else that he has employed, they're just not competitive. They're not competitive. They'd like to win. That'd be cool. It's just not what they're about. It's not at the top of their list. I don't even believe that it's top of mind. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow.